Good evening, Vividha.
Good evening, sir. Okay, so should we wait for like
Yeah, just 2-3 minutes. That's it.
okay.
So welcome back, everyone. RPA session. We have Vividha with us. Vividha, I hand over this session to you. We'll start now.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, I'll just pull up my screen again. Okay. Okay, so in the previous session that we had, I did give you an overview of what the work fusion architecture is and the studio features, followed by a case study that we did together. In one the work fusion architecture, there was one component known as the control tower. So I gave you a one liner regarding it at that time, saying that control tower is basically like a management tool for bots to execute and to manage how and where the bot will run and all of those things. So now I'll just give you an overview of what control tower is, a more deeper overview rather of what control tower is, and I will also be showing you how control tower looks like and what all can be done on the control tower. Okay, so just is my screen visible?
Yes, Vividha.
Okay, great. Okay, so as I mentioned when I was explaining about the work fusion architecture, that control tower is one of the main component when it comes to the RPA work fusion tool. So control tower is not specific to just work fusion. Control tower is something that is across all of the RPA tools. So something it might have a different name in other RPA tools, but it does have the same functionality that it gives here. Okay, so in Blue Prism, it is known in Automation Anywhere, it is known as control room. Here, it is known as control tower, but the functionality remains the same, where you can manage the bots there. Okay, so control tower is basically used for either designing a workflow, or let's say you have built. I did mention about the workflow service as well in the fusion architecture. So building that workflow or the business process is what it is called. That designing of that is done using control tower. Similarly, running and scheduling these processes is done using control tower. Then, as I mentioned earlier, creating and managing bots. Then creating, you can also manage the users, considering you have those kind of accesses on control tower. So somebody who has an admin access on control tower can create users, or change the roles that users have on the control tower. As I mentioned, right, that there can be developers, or there can be just people who manage the control tower. So something of that sort. So there are different users that are present. So all of those roles of each user is defined on the control tower, which defines basically accesses, different accesses that they will have. Similarly, there is something known as creating manual tasks on control tower. We have, as I mentioned, right, in the morning session, that to build a workflow, there could be a possibility that we have bots. One bot is to extract data, other bot is to send out an email, email whether the data was extracted or not extracted. So building those together is called as workflow. So in between, let's say that there is a manual intervention required. Okay, let's say that the data is downloaded, but we need to first validate the data, whether the data that was downloaded was correct or no. So some person manually does that and then sets a flag to yes or no, and depending on that flag, the email will be triggered. So something of that sort. So then including those manual tasks, all of those things can be done using control tab. Okay, so then next is uh, okay, so I'll just quickly show you how a control tower looks like. Okay, so you can basically create business processes from here and run them. Since this is a live control tower, actually this is the live control tower which we use in our organization. So I will not be able to run anything from here because this is a live server. So, and there are some processes that are currently running also, so that might get disrupted because if I run anything, but I can surely show you everything that is there on the control tower. Okay, so okay, so earlier when we built a bot on the Work Fusion Studio, once the bot is built, we did run the bot as well. I think everybody here saw the bot running from end to end. Once the bot is run, we and all of once we have built the code and we have done all the testing, what we need to do is that the code needs to be published on control tower for any user to run it from control tower. So basically, only developers have access to WorkFusion Studio. Okay, so any end user or any business user will not have access to Studio. They will only be given access to control tower, and they will not be able to see all of these features as well. Okay, because as I mentioned, right, that those will be just users. They will not be developers or anything of that sort. So for the end business users to run the code, we need to basically publish this code on control tower. So to do that, all we have to do is there's a direct option here, publish to control tab. So when we click on this, we will have to publish it as a new business. We click on the option as publish as a new business process, and all we have to do is just give that business process a name. So for this business process, maybe the name can be notepad manipulation or anything. It can be anything. The name can be anything. So right now I will not be publishing it because, as I said, the server is a server. Okay, so that's a pretty simple step as to how it can be published on control tar. Okay, so once the process is published on control tar, we can view the process here. It will have the name that you mentioned while you are publishing it. Okay, so these are some of the test processes that we had published when we were earlier exploring workfusion. So I'll just show you how they look like. Okay, let's just open up one. Any questions up until here regarding control tar or how it needs to be published or anything like that? Okay. Okay. So then I'll just okay. So any business process that has been published on the control tar can be viewed from here. Okay, all you have to do is just click on the process that the name of the process and just click on edit and run. Okay, so there are different tabs here. We need to basically configure all of this to run the code from here. So all of this is done by the developer itself. It's just that no, users also have access to this. They will have access to the data tab and the run and results tab. Okay, so in the data tab, as I mentioned earlier, that if there is any input data that needs to go for your workflow to run, then that needs to be uploaded here. Okay. Let's say I'm running some validation process for which you need to give an input, some Excel input. So all you have to do is just click on upload data and add the Excel file here and click on add and then click on upload. That's it. So once the file is uploaded, you will be able to view the file here. Okay. So if there is no data that needs to go as an input, if the process is independent of any input values, then all you have to do is click on no data. Okay. The next tab that we have is the workflow tab. Okay. So in the workflow, so currently since there is just one bot, basically just one code that is running, then it will just show one block. If there is any other code like the use case that I mentioned, right, for if there are two different bots and you need to combine, so there will be another block and another block you can pull out here and then just directly connect those blocks. Okay, so it's just a normal, it's like a normal flow graph, how you will build a normal flow graph in maybe a WordPad or a Word document. You have to just pull out blocks. You need to associate each block with that particular process name and connect those processes together, and then it will directly, and then when you click run, it will run sequentially one after the other as per however the flow has been pulled together. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, you can even put in manual tasks. Let's say if there are two blocks in between, you need a manual intervention, you can even include a manual block. So all of these options are for those only. These are different options. So if you can see zoom out. Also, if I just click on the code. Okay. So if I just click on the code, this is some code that has been published from the WorkFusion Studio up onto the control tab. Okay. So the code that you will see here is in the form of a script, whereas the code that built here is completely different. Okay. So this is what happens when we publish a code from the studio to a control tab. So our code, which is action based here, is converted into a something known as a groovy script. Okay, so this script is nothing but a script representation of all the actions that we have done here. Okay, So if we need to make any changes, it is preferable and advisable to change here and then again publish it to the control tower with the same name, and then automatic the Groovy script can will also change. But if, let's say if there are any slight minor changes, or if there is some input value that needs to change, then you can directly change it from here also. But it is advisable that we do it through the studio and then publish it again. Okay. Okay, so once we have built the workflow, there is an option to validate. Okay, so all you have to do is click on validate. If your flow is valid, it will show that your workflow is valid. Let's say you missed connecting some block, or you have not put a start or an end uh, piece to it, then it will give that the flow is invalid. Okay, so whenever you make any changes, just make sure that we first validate the workflow, only then save it. Okay, if the flow is valid, only then save the workflow. So any changes, anything that you make, just save after everything that is done. Okay, so then the next tab that we have is the run tab. So once your workflow, once your input data is in place and once your workflow is in place, all you need to do is just click on run this process and the bot will start running. Currently my control tower is actually linked to a server, so even if I click on run this process, nothing will be viewed on my local system. It will run on the server that is mentioned here. Okay, so there's actually no point me running it through the control tower as well. So once the process has started running and we have anything, then the results tab will, right now the results tab is deactivated because we have not run the process. But once we run the process, if there are any errors, or if even if the status is successful, we can see it in the results tab. So results tab is basically a summary of our whether our code ran or did not run. Okay, so any errors, any notification, any statuses, everything can be viewed from the results tab itself. um, Packages is just if there are any additional packages that need to be used. This is very rarely used because you can almost incorporate everything in the code itself. You don't really need different packages. So I never cross where I had to use a package from outside, a completely different package from outside, and then incorporate it in the code. I have directly, I mean, I wherever I have worked with WorkFusion, I was able to do everything in the code itself. Okay. Okay, I was actually trying to show you the results tab, how it looks like. This is the earlier process that I had run long time back. So let's see if it's gets loaded. Yeah. Okay. So this is how the results tab looks like. So it will give you a summary of who ran it, or when the process ran, what was the status of the process, and even the event log. So if I click on the event log, so basically if I did not have any logs that I had generated for that particular process. So the only thing that I had in the log was if my process is successful, then a snapshot would be taken. A snapshot would be generated of whatever is my final result. So that is the only log that I have, but it clearly mentions that the snapshot has been generated for the final results. That means my process ran successfully. If there are any errors, so there could here instead of completed, it can be error or in progress or anything of that sort. If there are errors, we do the errors from the event log itself. There are a series of errors that you can get here. Okay. Uh, rest is this is just statistics and all the steps that were there. So that's pretty much it for business process and how to create and how to edit and how to run the process, how to view the results. Any questions around this? How to create or how to how to edit a business process, how to include manual steps, or how to run the process. Any questions here? Okay. Okay, then let's move forward. Okay, then there is I forgot mentioning that you can also create a process here itself. If you do not want to publish something from here, you can create a business process here, uh, and then use a already built bot. Let's say I have already built a bot for some process, XYZ process, but then the same bot can be used for some other process, let's say ABC process. So I can just create a new business process which will take the bot, the same bot as that was created for the ABC process, and use it as a reference to the other process that we need. Okay, so all you have to do is just click on create process in the use case. Just similar steps, just that if you publish it through the studio, you directly move on to the data tab. Here you just have to click on the miscellaneous task and select this use case. That's it. If there are multiple use cases, you will get multiple options. Right now we have just one use case, so we got only one option. So here you can directly start building your workflow. Okay. Okay. So then manual tasks are same. You create a manual task and you can call that manual task into the business process. It is exactly same as the business process that I showed you here. Okay. Then data stores are basically if you need to store a certain data which needs to be used in some of your business process, then you can store that data here. You can create a data source. You can give the name, you can give the description, and you can just upload. Let's say you have an Excel file which has a lot of data, so you can just give a name, you can give a description if required. This is not a mandatory uh, field to enter, but so and then you can just upload the data. So once the data is uploaded, this tab gets activated and you can view all the data that has been uploaded. You can later on also update the data sources. Like let's say this is a data source that was earlier created. So you can add a record or you can delete a record. If you want, you can delete the entire set of it. You can download the data, you can upload again the data. So it's not that you need to basically upload everything at the configuration step itself. You can upload the data and then later can make changes to the data. Let's say after 1 month or 2 months, you need to include more data. So you can do that from here itself. Okay. So this is about it. So next we move on to secret vault. So secret vault, as I mentioned during the architecture session as well, work fusion architecture, that secret vaults are basically used for basically if you have to store any login. Okay. So so if let's say you have created in the morning also I gave an example, right? If you have to trigger an email, you need it configured with some ID. So for that, I'm to configure that ID, you have to just add a secret vault here. You just need to add a field here with, let's say, mailbox ID. It's already present here, mailbox one, right? So all you have to do is just add the mailbox ID and put in the credentials. So right now, since none of these were created by me, I do not have access to it. So the ones that I create will have access. I will have access to those. So this is useful for data security for any if let's say if you're working for any client who does not want their credentials to be shared, and if control tower is shared with multiple clients, this is a useful feature there. Okay, so credentials will not be visible to anybody else. Like this is the only alias that is visible, so that when I, let's say if I have to create a new alias, I do not use the same name. So that is the reason this is the only value that is visible to other users. Okay. So this is about it, secret vault. Any questions up until here? Secret vault, data stores, manual tasks, business process, anything that you want to ask? Okay. Okay, let's move on to the next, that is the schedules. So the okay, so the business process that I showed, right? So there, one person has to manually go and trigger the business process. Correct. When I showed the business process, let's say any business process, if I have to run this business process, some person has to manually, go and click edit and run, and then that person has to check if any input data needs to be there or no. Then build a workflow, then click on run, and all of those things. So basically, it is still dependent on a human. Okay, so there could be a possibility, let's say if there's a client requirement saying that the bot needs to be triggered at I don't 2 a.m. maybe, and I mean nobody will be working according to Indian time zone, nobody will be working at 2 a.m. in the night. Okay, so what you can do is you can schedule your bot to run at a particular time. Okay, so all you have to do is create new. So here you just have to mention your process name, which process is it that you want to schedule. Okay, you can pick any process. Right now, let me pick any process here. Let's say um, test, maybe test mail. Okay, so you just have to pick your test mail. So there in the business process, there was a tab by the name of data, right, which had input data. The similar thing is here as input data. So if there's any data that you need to give input to this process, you can upload the data here. If there's no input data, then you can just mention this as empty. Okay. So let's say that the process needs to run only in the month of December. Okay. So I can schedule it starting 1st of December at I don't any time. You can mention the time here. Okay, whatever, maybe 2300. Okay, up until 31st December 2300, something like this. I mean, this is just the schedule period. You can have any period here that you want. Okay, so you can do this here. Then the next field that we have is try to repair failed task. So there could be a possibility that the task is failing. Let's say the task fails after the first run. Okay, but you do not want the user to be notified just after one run. Like I said, right, in the earlier session, there could be a possibility that the website took a little longer time to load than what we anticipated it to. Okay, so in that case, what we do is we try to retry the entire process from start again. Okay, so you can mention here the number of retries that you want. So by repair, it means retries only. That how many times you want to retry before the user can be notified that the process did not run. Okay, so the completed status that we have, so that will come after 10 retries. Okay, so even after 10 retries, if the process was not able to complete, then it will throw as an error. Up until 10 times, it will keep trying again and again till 10 times. Okay, so then copy data, that's okay. Okay, then you can give the schedule name here. If you can see, if you can see, there are schedules already present here. Okay, so this is the same the name that I mentioned, right? So you can just mention a schedule name here, followed by a small description if required. This is not mandatory. Okay, if you want, you can maybe give a small description of what the schedule is for, or when the schedule needs to run, or what the bot does in short. That is fine. Okay, something similar is tags, that is also optional. So you sorry, description is not optional, tags is optional. Okay, so it is similar to description. You can add the labels basically. Okay, so this will give you the so the time that you set here will run as per the current time that is there for this server. Like currently for this server, the time, if you can see, it is 12:01. Okay, whereas the time, if you see for us right now, is 5:30. So it works according to the GMT time. Okay, so you need to schedule your time, the date and time here as per this calendar cycle. Okay, not as per our IST time. Okay. Similarly, you can change the frequency when you want to run. If, let's say, if you want to run uh, so right now what it is, what here it means is, for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, it run at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1700 hours. Okay, if let's say if you have to run a process for each hour, then this is the schedule that will be there. This will be the basically the frequency that will be there. So how many times you want to run. Okay, so the difference between the schedule period and the frequency is that period just gives you the start and the end time, whereas the frequency gives you the exact time that the bot needs to run. Okay, and once all of these things are in place, you just click on save. Once you click on save, you will see something like this here. Okay, and there is a status: pause, started, ended, something like this. Okay, last modified by the person whoever has modified, and whatever is the definition. I think these are basically logs of those schedules. Okay, so anytime after you create a schedule, all you have to do is just click on the particular schedule and just click on start, and the schedule will be active from that moment onwards, and it will run and execute as per whatever schedule you have mentioned in the scheduler that you have put up. Okay, uh, any questions around scheduler? Anything? Okay. Okay, system settings are basically for administrator uses basically. So we did not get a chance to work on system settings. So those work for bot sources and all of those things. So how bots can be managed, how their maintenance works, and all of those things are in the system settings. Those activities are usually limited. As you can see, I do not have there are multiple options in system settings. As you can see, I do not have the rights to view those. Only the administrator of the control tower will have access to these. Okay, so that's about control tower. Control tower is user specific. I need to give in a user ID and password to log into it. uh, that's about it. Any questions around control tower as a whole? Anything?
Vividha, this control tower is actually like in RPA, or it's a feature of this particular tool?
No, control tower is available in all of the RPA tools that you will come across. It will just that the name will be a little different. Like in Work Fusion, it is control tower. In Automation Anywhere, it is known as control room. Then in Blue Prism, I think it is known as Studio Manager or something like that. Control Manager, something like that. But the feature is there in all. It is just that the name differs from platform to platform. Okay, any more questions for regarding control tower or anything? Okay, let's move forward then. So okay, so in the studio, uh, let's move to another use case that we have. um, okay, so earlier in the morning session we worked on a desktop based automation. So let's look at a web based automation now. So So what we need to do basically is that we need to open a website in a browser. Let's say we need to navigate to a desired page. This is fine. I mean, we can omit this portion. But yeah, so for web-based automation, these two are the main actions that we need to do: opening a web page and navigating to some particular uh, desired web page on that particular website. Okay, so I'll just quickly pull up the automation. uh, do you want me to build it from scratch? I mean, how we did in the morning, where everybody interacts and gives out the inputs, or I do have a workflow built for web-based automation, and I can pull that up and explain it to you guys how it's done. I mean, how do you want it? Somebody can answer. Okay, somebody said from the start. Okay, great. Okay, let's do it in this. Okay, so let's do it in the project that we created in the morning itself. Okay, the initial steps would remain the same, where we create a new project from create new, give the file the project a name with a .rpa extension, and that will be created here, as I mentioned in the morning, right? So all those steps would remain same. After that, let's start with how we will be moving ahead with some website. Okay, so and somebody uh, uh, tell me what should be the first step. If I have to open a website, what should be my first step? I will just pull out the action library. So I'll give you 2 minutes. Just go through all the actions on the action library and just let me know what is it we will need to basically launch our website. Okay. Expand the action library, then do let me know. I will open it up for you. Okay. Can anybody help me start? It will be better if somebody can go off mute and tell me what should be the first step that we need to pick from the action library. Inderjeet sir, if I mean, since you asked for me to start it. Why
Yeah,
don't we start from
yeah,
you?
yeah. Hello, ma'am. Actually, I missed on that part. I had a lecture at that point, so that's why
Oh,
I asked
okay.
you to start from start, ma'am.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. That's fine. Anybody else who can uh, maybe help with the start of the piece for this code? Nobody? Okay. Okay, let me start then. So, since we are working with web, so the first thing that we need to do is that we need to open a website. Okay. So, let's say that we need to open, I don't know, maybe google.com first. So, http colon google.com. Okay. So, all you have to do to open a website is mention the URL here, choose the browser where you need to launch this website. You can either choose Firefox, Chrome, or Internet Explorer, as I mentioned in the morning. So you can choose any of the browsers that you need. Currently, I will use Chrome. Okay, and you need to give a timeout as to how many seconds you need to milliseconds you need to wait for this website to load. Okay, so let's say I give what 5 seconds for it to load. Okay, so I've given 5 seconds. So we'll just do it simultaneously. Okay, I open Chrome and I do uh, google.com. Okay, so with the piece of code that we have written here, this is where we will reach. Okay, next, what I need to do is let's say from google.com, again, I need to let's say enter some text here. Okay, let's say Dell laptops only. So somebody from the morning, can you help me how we can click here? Let's say I need to first click here and then type in some text. So somebody from the morning session, if they can tell me how we did this. We did this in the morning. Anybody? People who are there in the morning, it will be a good recap for everybody who was there also. It will help you to understand also. Why is it showing 0 millisecond? Oh, is it? There is actually a problem. It is 5 milliseconds only. The text box is actually showing up small. So if you see here, see, you can see 5 now. The text box is small. So I'm not sure why it is like that. So it is ideally 5 seconds, 5000 milliseconds only. Okay. Uh, yeah. So I was asking if somebody from the morning session can help me how we can click on the Google one.
Ma'am, we have to click on the box and then we have to type a text. So
Yes.
respective
Let's say
actions
I need
will.
to. Yeah. So can you help me
Yes.
what actions we will be choosing here? So once I've
Uh,
opened the website, what should I do next? So
I
if I
should
have to
add
click,
some actions related variables. I should add.
okay. So what is the
Yes.
action that I can pick from here is what I'm asking.
Mouse, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So in mouse, what should I pick?
Mouse click.
Okay. Mouse side. Okay.
Next is typing text or writing a
Uh,
text to browser
okay.
to
Okay. But
a web page.
first I need to configure my mouse click in such a way that it identifies that it needs to click here. Correct?
Yes.
I have just pulled out the action. Can you help me configure this?
Wait. Should we? I think, ma'am, you should select the position.
Okay. Okay.
Then we can give a one method is by giving a coordinates.
But I mean, I am not sure what the coordinates will be, right? I mean, here
Yes,
it
ma'am.
says that measured from the top left corner of the screen. So from top left corner, so probably it will be 0, 0 at this point, at this corner. So I do not know the position of the coordinates for this particular box, right? The typing box. So I will not be able to use the position. As I said in the morning as well, right? Position is basically something that is not reliable, because right now my position, let's say even if I do get the coordinates for this particular box, let's say it is, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 example. I am not sure what the coordinates will be. I'm just saying. So tomorrow, if the window is not maximized, this is how my window is, then this position will not be 30, 40. Correct? The position will change because my coordinates are still 0, 0 is here and not here. But my position changed. Correct? So in the morning also, that is why I mentioned that position should be the last resort when you're coding or when you're picking a mouse click. If none of these three options work, that then, and you have like position is the only thing that is working, then position should be your option. Okay. Anyway, it's good that you at least got up till here. Okay, I'll help you out here. So since we are working with web based, and in the morning session since we were working on desktop based, we were usually doing all the mouse clicks using an image. Okay. So in the morning session, what we did was we would capture the image where we want to click. So ideally, I can do that here as well. Okay, I can just capture this portion and then I can click here based on that image. Okay, we can do that. But since we are working with something based with web, we have an option, something known as web element, in the morning session or in the other in the notepad one. Okay, so if you see, I'll just open up any mouse click. So the web element here was disabled. Okay, but in the one that we are building now, the web element is activated. Can somebody tell me why? How did it come to know that here it should not be, the web element is not activated and there it is activated? And somebody give me the reason why it is like that. Anyone? Manoj sir, if you're saying something, I'm sorry, I'm not able to hear.
Ma'am, I guess we have taken a web. We have selected web and we have taken google.com. So
Correct.
it is providing
Correct.
us
Correct. So if we
web
want,
element.
correct. So since we have placed the mouse click inside of the open website action, that is the reason this configuration is enabled to us. Even now, if I place a mouse click action outside of the open website, you will see that it is disabled. So for me to enable the web element, my mouse click should always be present inside the open website action. So this is like a hierarchy. So where my open website is the upper hierarchy and the mouse click will fall inside it. So it will be like a lower hierarchy in this website, in this action. Okay. Any doubts around this? Any questions? Okay. Okay, let's move forward. Let's get rid of this. Okay. So now, since we are working with web, we chose web element as an option. You can always choose image also. But as I said, right, the image, if the resolution does not match, or let's say the image tomorrow changes, like if I'll just give you an example. If I choose an image, I capture an image. So this is the image that I capture. Okay. So, right, I showed in the morning session, right? We can keep it, if we want the entire thing to be visible, we mention the coordinates that are present here. Okay, so 0, then my width will be 633, my height will be 204. Okay, so if this is the image, and I need to click here. Okay, so my position changes. Okay, so if this is the image that we choose, and let's say tomorrow, I mean, everybody is aware, right? The Google, this logo changes if there is any special event, or if it's Christmas or Diwali or something like that, then they have a different customized logo for something like that. And let's say we are running the bot on that particular day, so it will not be able to match the image correctly, and the bot will fail. Okay, so when working with web, we preferably use web elements, because that is a more reliable option than the image. Let's say the web element does not work, then we move on to image. So image will be my second preference after the web element configuration. Okay, so now in the web element I have two options. I can either find the element by XPath or by text. In the morning I showed how to determine XPaths, correct? So all you have to do is just click on the element, right click, inspect. So this developer tools window opens up, and as I said, right, if you hover, it will give you all the things that are present on here. So it will start highlighting it on the page behind. Okay, so since now this is the place where we need, this is the input box that we need to give in the input. We'll extract the XPath for this particular element. Okay, so for this all we do is right click, copy XPath. Okay, and then we will just copy XPath, paste. Okay, so now what will happen is it will click this particular element using the XPath that we have provided. Okay, next what we need to do is we need to type in some text here. Okay, so to type in, as we used in the morning, we will use keyboard. Okay, now everything that you will be doing on that particular website, so all the action that you will be performing on that particular website will all lie inside this action. Okay, since this is your main action, all of the clicks or any keystrokes or anything that you're doing after this will all come inside the action. Okay, so now let's see, I have to put in what was I doing, Dell laptops. Okay, let's say I have to type in Dell laptops here. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put Dell laptops. Okay, so as I mentioned, you can either directly take the type text here, or you can put the Dell laptops text into a variable and take the data from the particular variable. Okay, So currently we will do this. We will take the text from Dell laptops, from the text box itself. Okay. So this is where we have reached now. So we do Dell laptops. Okay. So this is the step that has been completed as per the code that we have built. Okay. So then what is it that we need to do next after I have put in Dell laptops here? Sorry, somebody asked a question. For dynamic web images, web pages, we should not. Yes, for web pages, it is preferable that we select web element rather than an image. Because as I mentioned, right, that images can keep changing. You do not know when the image might change. And normally, when you build an automation, you don't build the automation thinking that the bot will only run for 1 month, or the bot has to run only for one run. I mean, you will not put in the effort to build one bot end to end and then just use it once or maybe twice. Correct? You will be using the bot over and over again for at least, I don't know what, 5-6 months at least minimum. So you don't know in 6 months time what all can change in a web page. Usually desktop based applications, images and all those things don't change because it's a desktop based application. It's local to your machine. But web pages are handled by developers, right? They can change anytime. So that's the reason it's more reliable that we use elements rather than images. Okay. Okay, so where was I? So we have put in Dell laptops here. So I was asking what should be the next step after this. So as per the code, we have reached this stage.
Ma'am, can you just show once again where you wrote a Dell laptops in your program?
In the code? In the
Yeah,
code,
yeah.
are you asking? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So I've just used keystrokes as the action, and I've used type text. So it will pick this text directly. Whatever text I mention here, I can give any text here.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am, next step will be mouse click or we have to press enter button.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So
Or
let's
mouse
take.
click again, inspecting and getting an X path.
Yes. Yes. We can do that. We can. No. Where will you click mouse?
The search button, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. This is the voice recorder through the
Left
voice.
side, ma'am.
Just a minute. Okay. I'm clicking, nothing is happening. So I don't think we can use a mouse click here. So as Manoj sir mentioned, we will have to use a keystroke and we will have to give enter. Okay. I'll just try again if my enter. Oh no, that issue is still there. Okay. So we'll just use keystrokes. We will click on change and then we will as I mentioned in the morning session also, there is some problem with my enter. So it's not taking the enter button. Okay, so let's just assume that this is enter. Okay, so so here let's have click enter. Okay, now we have navigated the web page to some. Now let's say I have to click on the Dell website. Okay, let's say I have to click on this now. So again, we will do the same operations. We will use a mouse click. Okay, so we can use a mouse click again. Okay, so okay, so using a mouse click, now we need to click on this website. Okay, www.dell.com, on this. Okay, so now when I click on after I put in Dell laptops and I clicked enter, this is the page that I get. Now the website that I want to click on is a little below on the page. Okay, so for me to manually do it, I first have to scroll the page and then click. Okay, So we can do that also here. You can use a mouse scroll and then click. But my question to the group, is it necessary? Is it necessary for me to click on the scroll button? Can anybody answer if I need to actually scroll and go down on the page to click on this laptop computers pipe Dell India? Can anybody answer? Just a yes or no, and a small description as to why it is yes and why it is no. Anyone? Okay. Inderjeet sir says no need to scroll. So, sir, can you just go on unmute and tell me why the scroll is not necessary? Why it is not necessary to scroll? I mean, ideally, if I am doing it manually, I will have to scroll, right? I do not have it on the
Yes,
page that is
yes.
visible to me.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. We can add a image element there, and instead of scroll, whichever website we want to click. I
okay.
mean the link.
Okay. So you're
So,
saying that I should add the image, this image,
yes.
is it?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay. Okay. But okay, I'll tell you what the problem with that is. So you're saying that the scroll is not necessary, and I can just put in the image and it will take the image and proceed further. Now, when we click enter after putting in Dell laptops, this is the page that opens up. Now, when it is looking for an image, it will only look for the image in this screen. Okay, the screen that is basically visible to a human eye. Okay, so there it will look for the image for how much ever wait time that you have given, and ultimately it will fail saying that the image was not found, because ideally even you by a normal human cannot look at the image, right? That image is currently not present. Correct?
Yes, ma'am. Understood. Yeah.
Okay. So then does your answer change that a scroll is necessary or not necessary? Okay. So you say that the scroll is necessary. Okay. So I'll tell you why it is not necessary now. Okay. So instead of taking the approach of an image, since I said earlier, right, we are working with web. We can use web elements, okay, to look for anything that we need on a website. Okay. Now, when the bot is actually locating an element, a web element, and not an image, then it need not be present on the screen that is there. Like these are not the only dimensions it looks for when it comes to web element. Okay, the justification that I gave is only specific to an image and not to a web element. Okay, the web element can be present anywhere. Even if the web element is present here somewhere, let's say on the fourth page, it will be able to locate it and it will be able to click. Okay, so for an image it needs to be in the dimension of my screen, but for a web image it need not be on the dimension of my screen. Okay, any questions as to why the scroll is not necessary or necessary, or if anybody wants to counter the justification that I gave, that is also fine. I mean, that is okay if there are questions, if anybody has any questions around this. Okay, okay, then let's move forward. Now, as I mentioned, we will be using we will be using again a web element to again click on the laptop computers. As I mentioned, the scroll is not necessary here. Okay, so what we can do is now, instead, since we have already used XPath once, and I think everybody here has become a little familiar with XPath, let's work with text. Okay, now for text also we will do the exact same procedure that we did for XPaths So how to locate an XPath. Okay, now the text, you will say that the text is present here, and I can directly pick the text that is there. I can directly copy and just paste that text here, and I can just directly paste the text here. Is this the right way to do it or no? Should I be doing this or no if I have to locate an element by text?
No, ma'am, it's not because there may be a chances at multiple places there may be a text on the web
Correct.
page. Same text.
Correct.
It will be more accurate.
Correct. So XPath will ideally be more accurate, as Manoj sir said. XPath is something that you cannot have duplicate. Okay. No two elements will have the same XPaths, but two elements can have the same text. Okay. So right now, let's say that this text is unique, but still, let's say this text is not available anywhere other than this page, other than this place. Still, should I be picking up the text from here, or should I be picking up the text from the developer tools, the other developer tab that I had opened, the inspect tab, correct? The inspect tab that is here. Okay. So if you see that the text is present here as well, the same text that you see here is present here as well. Okay. Now there could be a possibility, like here the text exactly matches the text that you can see on your web page. Okay, so I have seen scenarios where the text in the backend does not match the text that is there here. Okay, so this text that you see is basically a label, and the actual text is present somewhere behind. Okay, so it is always advisable that if we have to pick the text, you pick it from here and not directly from here. Okay, we always pick the text from the developer tab that we have here. Okay. Manoj sir, your point is exactly valid, that ideally we should be working with XPaths, but right now, just for demonstration purpose, I will be using the text so that everybody gets a gist of how we can work with XPath and with text. Okay. So I'll just pick the text from here, copy. And this paste. Okay. So now we can set whether we want the text to be an exact match, or if you want the text to be if we deselect this, it will look for something as a substring, right? So it can look for let's say my actual text on the website is Dell India something followed by something ABCD. I don't know anything. So even if that is the case, and if you deselect the exact match portion, then it will be able to click using this text. Okay. So right now, since we know that the exact text is this only, we will keep the exact text option checked. Okay. Then normal, how we configure the mouse clicks, whether you want to have a left click, right click, whether you want to have a single click, double click, anything. Okay. Then again, we'll set the time. Let's say we put 2 seconds here. Okay. So now what we have done is we have navigated to Dell laptops. We have clicked enter, and now without scrolling, it should be able to click on this website using the configurations that we have done here. Okay. Any questions up until here? How to get XPaths, how to work with text, how to get web elements? Any questions? Okay. Okay. Okay, then let's move forward. Okay. So once we have clicked on it, After that, let's say that there is another option, how we can use how we can put in the value on a particular web element. Okay, so right now here we have used, mouse click, then we have used keystroke. So these are like multiple steps. Okay, as here we use first on the Google website, we first clicked on the search window, and then we typed the text, right? So that is basically we are doing two actions when actually it is only just one action. Okay, we are using two steps here to perform just one action. As I mentioned earlier in the morning session as well, that to create an optimized code, we need to reduce the number of steps that by how many ever numbers that we can. Okay, so ideally, since I mentioned in the morning session that since this is a smaller code, it is fine. When we have to write big codes and codes are huge, it takes a really long time to execute these three steps. Take really long time. That adds up to a total time of maybe minutes or 10 minutes or so. Okay, so another way how we can type in a data is that we use something known as a web element. Okay, now let's say on the Dell website itself, I need to type some value here. Suppose any value. So Vostro maybe. Okay, maybe I need to type in Vostro here. Okay, and click on search. Okay, suppose this is the action that I need to perform. Okay, so for that, what do we need to do is using. So if we are using a web element to do that, how are we going to do it? So in the web element, either you can get a value or you can set a value. Okay, by get value we mean that let's say if I have to extract some value from some website. I'm sorry. Let's say I need to extract say what is written here. Suppose I need to extract products. Okay, so all I need to do is set my mode as get value. I need to give the XPath of this particular element, of the element that for which value I. Okay, I need to give the variable from which variable I need to set the value there. Okay, so here we do not have the option of typing it through the keyboard. You compulsorily have to store the value that you need to pass in a variable. Okay, so for now let's say I create a variable here, web value, a type is string, and I put the value as Vostro. Okay, so now all I'll do is I'll just select this the variable that I created just now, the web value variable, and I will mention the XPath of the element where I need to set this value. So right now I want to set the value here. Okay, so all I'll do is get the XPath of this particular element. Okay, I'll click on inspect. Okay, so this is the element that we are looking at. Right click, copy full XPath, and just paste it here. Okay, so earlier where we were using two steps to do that one action, we can use just one step here to do both of those actions. Okay, but this option is available only in the web if we are working on a web based automation. This option is not valid for the use case that we were doing in the morning session, the desktop based application for a notepad or something like that, because obviously we will not be able to determine where we need to set that value. Correct? Okay, and Yes, sorry. I'm sorry.
Can you explain once more when to use set value and get value option?
Yeah, sure. I can do that. Okay. So get value is basic. First, I'll explain the set value one. So set value is used when we need to give some value to the website. So it can be used anywhere. The earlier what we did was we went on to Google, right? And here we use the actions as first mouse click here, then enter Dell laptops using keystrokes, correct? Instead of that, I could have just used a web element with the property with the mode as set value, give the XPath for this particular search window, and give the value that I need to set in this particular search box. Okay. Sir, is this part clear where we can use set value?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So now for get value, so let's say I have to get some value from some website. Okay. Let's say I need a value. What is written on this? Just a minute. I'll just show you. So let's say I need the value uh, that is there, that is associated with this web element. Okay, the highlighted web element that you can see. So I need the value of this web element. What is written basically? Okay, so the as you can see, the value is laptop computers and 2-in-1 PCs. Okay, so if I need to extract this value into a variable, okay, so how I can do it is I can just use copy XPath, okay, and then use my mode as get value. Since I need to extract the data that is there on the website, just mention uh, the XPath here that we copied, the element of for which element the value needs to be extracted, and then just store the value into some variable. Okay. uh, is it clear, or do you want me to explain it in some other way? I mean, set value and get value are two exactly opposite things. One is you set the value onto a website, and the other is to extract a value from the website. Okay. Can I move forward? Okay. Okay, great. Okay, so I think that's about it. Get set value, get value, web elements. I'll just check. Switch to browser is used if at all you have switched the control to some other window, and you need to if you want to switch to another browser, if there are two browser windows open. Okay, so in this case, let's say I have another to open a new window. Okay, so now I have two Chrome browsers open, right? So if I have to switch between these browsers, then we use switch browser. Okay, so whichever is my active browser, and if I put a switch browser, it will just switch it to the other browser that is there. Okay, so you don't need to basically configure or do anything here. Okay, I think that's about it. I've covered all the major aspects. Yes, you can use if else also. Let's say you can use if else as a condition to check whether my web browser has loaded or no. Okay, so something maybe like if I've navigated up until here, so then I can put an if else condition to check whether my something like that. So if else conditions can be used in scenarios like that. So you just have to mention what condition you need to check for the if. So if the condition is true, then it will move to then, else it will move to the else block. Okay, so I'll just quickly check. Okay, so here if you see, I've used the if else block. So I've done so the use case that we are building, I've built something similar already. Okay, here what we have done is same. We have opened the website, we have used mouse clicks and then enter keystrokes, enter key, then mouse click again. See, laptop, computers, Dell India. Then after this, I have put in a wait for some time for the website, for the Dell website to load. After that, what I have done is I have uh, put in an if else condition. So here I have put a wait using an image. Okay, so we can just capture the image again. You can put any image that you feel will be loaded after the website is completely loaded. Okay, and something that is unique to this website itself. Okay, so this Dell logo will probably be unique to this website. So let's say we have captured this. Okay, so what I have done here is basically after I have navigated to the Dell website, I wait for this image. Okay, and if my image is true, and I have stored the result of this into a variable of type boolean. Okay, and then I put in an if condition to check if my image has loaded or no. So if my image has loaded, then my value for this variable will be true. Okay, then I put an if condition to check whether my value is true. So if my Dell website has loaded, then I will perform the further actions. Else I will, I mean, I haven't put anything, but you can put else actions here. Maybe you can in the else block you can put again open website or reload the website or something like that. You can put anything here. That is fine. Okay. Any questions till here? I mean, if else condition. Similarly, you can use loop, different loops. Okay, I think in the morning session I used the repeat action. Here. So to repeat, if I have the same steps that I need to perform over and over again, rather than writing those steps again and again, you just put in a loop rather than replicating the steps over and over again. Okay. So okay. Any questions till here? Any questions how to use if else or loops or any other action also, that is fine. Any questions? Okay, let's move forward then. Okay, so here I have actually put in a small action to just to give a gist of how Excel works. Okay, so let's say the variable value that I have stored, I want to put that value into an Excel variable, into an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so what I do is I will open a Excel worksheet. Okay, then as I said in the morning in the Excel, now since I need to set a value to an Excel, I will use set value action here. Okay, so in the set value action, I mention the code. Either I can mention the coordinates where I want to put in the value, direct coordinates. It can be A1, it can be B2, it can be B3, anything. You can just mention the coordinate and the value will be pasted. And you need to mention the variable name, which has the data that you want to input into the Excel. Okay, or you can, the other option that you have or you can use is the position. Okay, so the position can be the start of the document, end of the document, or the current active cell, that the current cell that is active, or the above the active cell, the cell below the active cell, anything, any that you want here. Okay, so currently maybe I'm using coordinates B3. Okay, and after I'm put in the value in B3, I want to spread this spreadsheet. So I have an direct action here to save the spreadsheet. Okay, so this is nothing linked to the use case that we have above, but this was just a small one so that I can just quickly give you a gist of how Excel works. Okay. Yeah, in this in the save spreadsheet, you have two options. You can either have save to the same file, or you can have save as a new file. So this is something similar to save, and this will be something as a save as. Okay. So same like how for save you just need to press Control S. For save as, when you press Control Shift S, you have to give the destination and the file name, since a new file is being saved. Okay. Also in the open spreadsheet, you just need to give the file path from where the spreadsheet needs to open. So here what I have done is I have just put the file path into a variable using a constant variable here. Instead of declaring the value here in the default value, I have given the value to a variable using a variable action. We can ideally do this from here also. Okay. Any questions regarding Excel or web or anything that we did in the morning also? Any questions? Okay. Okay, then I'll just maybe quickly run this automation for you so that you'll be able to view how it runs, how it executes. I'll just close the tabs that are not necessary. Okay. And okay, so I'll just leave the recording. There's some issue with the player. Just give me a minute. So WorkFusion is actually a relatively heavy software. So we actually need configurations, laptop configurations to be really high for WorkFusion to actually work without interruptions. Like you can see, right? My WorkFusion keeps hanging every now and then. So with a higher configuration, this issue does not arise. Okay, so first we have launched the website with google.com. Then we type in Dell laptops. Then here using text, we have clicked on the Dell website. Okay. So after this, it will wait for the Dell image to pop up. It will check if the Dell image exists or no. So if the Dell image exists, then it will type in some any value here. So Alienware is a type of gaming laptop. Okay. Okay. So this is the so it was able to basically do all the actions related to web. It gave me an error while saving the spreadsheet action. Okay, so this is this action. Okay, so unable to process template with save spreadsheet action. Okay. Okay, so in the save spreadsheet, what happened was I tried to save it as a new file and I did not give in any parameters here. That's the reason it failed. Okay, so I will just run the code again with save it to the same spreadsheet. Control S, the play recording. Okay. So the automation was complete. It's completed for 16 of 16. All the steps have been completed. Now, if we can just open this was the Excel spreadsheet that we used. If you see the path, okay, we'll just quickly open this. Okay. So here you can see in B3 the coordinate that we mentioned, B3. The value has appeared, the Alienware value that we put in on the Dell website. Okay, so here we had set the value for B3 coordinates. We had set whatever is there in the products variable. Products variable has this value, Alienware. So that has appeared in the Excel. Okay. Any questions till here? Sorry. Double subscription, is it an open tool? Open to, as you are asking about Work Fusion, is it an open tool? Yes, or it is an open tool, but recently actually that is the goof up that happened actually, that recently you cannot directly download the tool. You need to request a demo and then they will give you steps as to how it can be downloaded. Earlier you directly had an option to download the Work Fusion software, but right now they have changed some policies due to which it cannot happen directly, but you can get in contact with the Work Fusion team and they can help you out how it can be downloaded. Any further questions regarding the morning session or even now, the session that we had now? Anything? Uh, I think that's about it from my end also. So, if, I mean, if there are no further, I mean, we have still 25 minutes to go. So if there are any questions or if anybody wants me to repeat some action or wants me to do something that they feel or they have anything in their mind, so they can tell me, I can probably do something here. Mhm. Okay, then I think we can close the session a little early, since I mean I have showed everything that I had from my end, and since we do not have any questions. Uh, Rathod sir?
Yeah, Vividha.
Yes, sir.
So just few basic things from students'
Yes, sir.
perspective. Just from students' perspective, I'm asking.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody, there are, what are the different kinds of job profiles available? If somebody knows RPA developer,
Control room management.
okay.
Yeah, that then yeah, that's about. There's something known as RPA tester also, but those jobs are relatively less. So tester is basically who would help a developer. So developer will just build the code, and the tester will keep rigorously testing the code.
Because I was just searching online just now, what are the different kinds of, but there are many jobs available, like Accenture, IBM, HCL. There are so many companies who are actually having open opportunities in this
Yeah.
particular domain.
RPA is like actually the talk of the town right now, and with cognitive capabilities coming in, it is one of the most sought after things in market currently, because everybody is looking at automating their tasks.
Exactly. That is the reason actually why we included this in the workshop also. because we got the inputs from JPMC last year. I got the input that this is what
Yes.
has to be taught if we want to be relevant in industry now. So technologies like RPA needs to be included somewhere. And that is, there are so many jobs where people don't know about it. That's it. They are not trained basically in that direction. Good that you have actually given us the insights of these tool sets, which I don't think anywhere in academics this kind of tool sets are actually being taught and shown the insights the way you have shown. So just one more thing, these tool sets which you shown UI path, Blue Prism, I think automation anywhere, Word Fusion. These are all actually used in an industry on real work projects, right?
Yes. So these are the most widely used. There are more tools as well, but these four are the most, like Work Fusion is also not that much, but the other three tools are actually the most widely used tools in the industry. Blue Prism is one of the biggest players in all of those. But
Blue
Blue
Prism is
Prism,
one of the biggest.
yes, but Blue Prism is expensive also. So only big companies usually afford to, get licenses, procure licenses, and then have people work on them. So it's expensive. It has better capabilities also. Like I mentioned, right, in Work Fusion, somebody asked in the morning if we can send emails using Work Fusion. So I mentioned that there is no direct capability to send out an email. You need to write a script or maybe a Python code. Whereas in Blue Prism, all of these capabilities are inbuilt. All you have to do is just drag and drop a block which says send email. That's it. So it's easier also from an RPA developer point of view. But obviously, yes, there are different concepts in Blue Prism. There are different concepts here. So Blue Prism has object concept and process concept that is completely different from what Work Fusion is. So it's based on .NET and C# coding.
So one thing, like automation anywhere, there are many certifications available in automation anywhere. Because in our second year students, now they are in actually third year. Second year from computer and IT, the students who are at present in third year, they have already studied automation anywhere and this kind of things. Because we had special courses for them from JPMC. So that time they recommended that students should be doing certification courses in this particular domain, particularly in automation anywhere. Similar kind of certifications are there for other tool sets or any idea about that?
Yes. All of the tools have certifications. You can go check on their website. There are official websites for Work Fusion, official website for Blue Prism, official website for Automation Anywhere. All of the tools have certifications.
And is there any real benefit they get out of that if they do? Because a lot of cost will be involved in certification.
Yes, cost is involved, obviously. I think even Automation Anywhere has cost involved to it. I'm not sure if that was free, but
no,
yes.
actually, what happened is last year during Christmas season, or I think around Christmas season, 1 month free certifications were launched. Yeah, were launched by Automation Anywhere.
Yeah. So that Automation Anywhere does have that thing that normally in a year they have that 1 month or somewhere around that time where they give out free month for certifications. But it is always good to have certifications. I wouldn't say that it is not helpful, but obviously the experience that you will get when you work hands-on is completely different from a certification. I mean, nothing can give you an experience when you're working hands-on. I mean, I'm not saying certifications are bad. You should obviously be doing certification. I mean, even we are expected to do certifications from our organization as well. So when we work towards getting certified in these tools, but yes, hands-on experience is something that is the most that is the most beneficial for an individual.
But how much time it takes? How many days? If somebody wants
For
to do certification.
Depends. There are different types of certifications actually. So there are there are hours mentioned across each certification. So certifications can actually vary from a developer certification to an architecture certification to I don't know, maybe a tester certification. All of those are different. But yeah, the hours vary. I think the certification that I had a look at from Automation Anywhere, I think it was 14 hours of coursework. So time is usually mentioned for each certification, the approximate time that you will require to complete that certification.
Is there any other background also required? Somebody wants to go for as a RPA developer, wants to become a student. Let us say, wants to pursue a career. Any programming background or anything else?
Basic programming knowledge will be beneficial, but it's not a mandatory aspect to it. I mean, I am a electronics B graduate, right? So I did not have any coding background, but still here I am. So it's not mandatory, but it is always good to have a little bit of background. I mean, you can anytime switch you want to.
Actually, this if let us say I am having a Vodafone number, if I am having any problem, I call their service number, contact number, and the lady go on talking, dial 1, dial 2, dial 3,
Yes.
dial 4. That also comes under this point, automation.
That is an automation only, but that is something known as a chatbot. So that's a chat-based automation. So that is also something similar. I mean, that is automation only, definitely, but it is different than what I showed right now. This is like a task that a human does. Basically, the software task that a human would do on a laptop or something software based. Okay, whereas those chatbots are built differently, where they are programmed in a way where you put in your inputs, right? They ask you to put in number 1, number 2, number 3, or whatever. So accordingly, they are programmed that way. But
So
yes,
that is those chatbots are not part of our RPA designing. Something like that?
No, that is a part. You can call it as a subsection of it. Okay. But yeah. But we have, I mean, none of the members in my team have worked on chatbots till now.
Then one more
there's
kind
actually
of
a different
chatbots.
team for chatbots in our organization.
One more kind of chatbox comes through. Like for example, when I had an issue with Cisco, this platform, Linux platform. So I contacted there as soon as I went to website to help. Where chatbox comes, and immediately chatbox open, and we go on typing and answers keep on popping up.
Yeah,
so
that is also the same chatbot. Just the Vodafone one is a voice based, and this is text based. But the program is exactly the same. I mean, the logic and everything, the build behind that is the same. Just one is configured using a voice, the other is configured using a text.
Okay, but those things might have been developed by RPA developer only.
Yes, there could be a person.
Okay. So thank you, Vividha. Thank you very much. Nice, interesting session, and I was very much interested in this kind of sessions.
Thank you, sir.
And it was really very difficult to get resource persons for these sessions actually, and you made my job very simple. So thank you very much, and just sharing. You can call it as a certificate, or you can call it as a memento. This is what we can give you online mechanism. It's something physical memento. This is our online virtual memento. And as soon as I thought of having a session on RPA, so your name popped up. Vividha is there, and let us contact her, and you immediately accepted. So nice of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your.
Okay. Thanks, Vividha. Thank you. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
So participants, we are closing for the day. Thank you very much for joining. Tomorrow morning, let me tell you, all of you, please join on time. If you want to leave early, you can leave, but please join on time, because we will be having 4 to 5 team members. Minimum 4, I am definitely sure, from JPMC they will be joining. Their senior VP will be joining. It should not happen that they are 4 and 5 and we are 3 here sitting in a participants list. So will not look good. And it is the JPMC who has actually recommended this particular title, Insights into Intelligent Automation, this particular part. And that's why we have included. They said if you want to be relevant in the industry, this has to be there in data science workshop. And that's how we have included. So don't disappoint us, at least at the joining time. Okay. Please join on time tomorrow morning. That's it. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you everyone for patiently listening to me also.